Welcome to the Chris Hatcher Show, presented this week by Alabama Power. This week we review an exciting game between East Tennessee State and Samford University, which unfortunately ended up in a Samford loss 55-48. Coach, it was an exciting day here at Samford with family weekend, the dedication of Coach Bowden Field, and everything was great with the exception of the final score.
Well, there's no question. Again, I appreciate you doing the show for us each and every week. And, first of all, I'd like to just thank the Samford community, all the parents of our students, our fans. What a tremendous atmosphere. It was the largest crowd I have witnessed in 7 years as the coach at Samford. And it was just an exciting day. The quad was buzzing. It was what college football's all about. And I know the fans that were there, they couldn't have been disappointed by the show. If you wasn't pulling for either team, you should have been very well entertained during the course of the day. However, we did come up short, and that's very disappointing. And then to go back on what you mentioned earlier, it was an awesome day to name the field after Coach Bowden, and had a lot of his family members there. And he means a lot to our community. We know our community meant a lot to him and his family, and then have a guy with that type of national presence be able to name the field after him was awesome. I was always a Florida State fan growing up, so I always paid close attention to Coach Bowden. I've only met him twice, when he was living, but I do know a lot of his family, Terry and Tommy. We're pretty close acquaintances right there, and then they have some members that still live here in town that I'm close with. But again, just a great honor. We just needed one more play, and it would have been a perfect day all the way around.
For sure. Well, let's talk about the game. Samford's offensive statistics for this game are really mind-boggling. 728 total yards, 38 first downs, 48 points. Of course, we have to talk about quarterback Liam Welch, who this week was named Southern Conference Offensive Player of the Week, also Stats Performed Player of the Week. So not only conference honors, but national honors for our quarterback. Liam sets Samford and Southern Conference records for passing yards with 582. Total offense, 655, also set school records for completions and attempts. And that against a really good ETSU defense without his two good receivers who didn't play in the game, Ty King and A.J. Tony.
Well, you got to tip your hat to Liam. We've had some offensive struggles early in this season, and he played exceptional. I mean, you throw it 73 times, and you're close to 77% completion percentage, and all the records. And I know he's like me. We would have given up some of that for a win on Saturday, but he's got his swag back that he had there at the end of the spring season, and that's really good to see. And you talk about the quarterback position. I think he relies on the other players on the team more than anybody. I mean, you got to have good blocking, you got to have good receivers, you got to run the ball, which we got to do better, and then you got to have a great defense that gets you the ball back and gives you a bunch of possessions. So he's critical of himself. There's always room to improve, but more importantly, that's the best our offensive line have played. Our receivers caught the ball extremely well, ran great routes, and it was a case of some guys really stepped up. I mean, Peyton Ringer kind of filled in there for A.J. Tony, and then Chandler Smith filled in for Ty King, and both of those guys had good days along with all the other guys. So offensively, other than the turnovers early and then not being able to make one more play in overtime, once they hit their groove there in the third quarter, it was something fun to watch.
Well, you had mentioned Chandler Smith. When you have guys down that are key receivers, you got to have people step up. And Chandler has been a fun guy to watch. Junior out of Marietta, Georgia. Saw glimpses of him in the spring until he was injured. But his game was, I thought, very effective. 11 catches, 124 yards. Just talk about Chandler's abilities, what you're seeing in him, and how maybe we can use him more in the future.
He walked on this football team, and early on we said, this guy's got a good chance to be a good player for us, and earned himself a scholarship. He's a shifty type receiver. He's faster than he looks. The guys will attest to that, and he's a precise route runner. So, he has not started. We have him playing behind Montrell, but he's kind of the guy that can play any position. So we had to move him out to the X position with Ty King going down. A very versatile player. And as he showed the other night, a very good player. And, you know, I think that now AJ and Ty, they may get healthy a lot quicker after seeing those guys come in and perform like they did.
Yeah. Well, I also want to mention Montre Washington had an incredible day as well. Continues to with his impressive play, 10 catches, 148 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Coach, I heard your comments in the post game. You talked about how important it is to cover those kickoffs, and really that really hurt us in this game in particular. How important is those types of special team plays?
Well, you know, we spend the longest period we have at one given time in practice is special teams each week, and you know, I have a big hand in that, and you know, Coach Turner does a phenomenal job with that. And you know, we just had a couple guys that didn't use good technique on that team, and they washed out. And you got a good return man back there. He made a couple guys miss. And that put our defense in a really bad position there in the fourth quarter that allowed them to have some quick scores. And then at the end of the game, that forced us to, you know, have to give them good starting position with 51 seconds to go in the game, which eventually led to the field goal that tied the game. So that's something that we got to shore up. You know, you look across the board, I'm sure we're going to get to it, but while we're talking about it, you know, it's a team game, and you know, it's like I told our team Monday, defense, we need one more good play. Yeah. Offense, we need one more good play. Special teams, we need one more good play, and we win a close game. And you know, and you sit there and talk about, you hear me say defense, you heard me say offense, special teams, there's a combination of offense and defensive players that play on that team. So down the stretch, we performed very poorly. And still had a chance to win. With all that said, you still got to give ETSU credit. They got a great football team. They're ranked for a reason, but we're really close. But I'm getting tired of talking about being close. I'm ready to take that next step.
For sure. Well, the Bulldogs don't have time to sit around and lick our wounds. We've got a big game this week against Mercer. We travel to Macon, Georgia on Saturday. Coach, I know this game's special for you every year, but this is a pretty good Mercer team. They played Alabama tough at times in that game, and of course last week won by 3 touchdowns against a really good Furman team.
You know, you're at the point of the season, I think a little bit, Kevin, that nobody really knows, you know, who's the best team and who's not the best team yet, you know, and it's starting to shake out a little bit. And I think we're in that upper echelon if we can continue to improve. Mercer came into our place in the spring with a chance to win the Southern Conference. We jumped on them early. The second half was very close. They have got out to a great start this year. They really played Alabama well early in the game. I mean, it was, you know, it made me mad to see them play that good when I turned the film on. I wish they had not played so well against those guys. Very well coached team. They run a offense, a little wing tee option, a lot of motions that can get you out gap quickly. And we found that out in the spring a few times. And then defensively, I tell you what, their front seven is really, really good. And they're a well-coached team. And it's like we say it every week. In this league, everybody's pretty close to the same. We got to go on the road, and we got to perform well.
Well, that game will be in Macon, Georgia on Saturday evening. It's a 6 p.m. Eastern time kick, 5 p.m. Central time kick. You can see the game, of course, as every week on ESPN+. And Coach will be tuning in and pulling for the Bulldogs on Saturday.
Well, I appreciate it. Like you mentioned earlier, I get to go back to my hometown, so I need a big win so nobody can talk smack to me over the Christmas break.
That's important as well. Thanks again for tuning in to the Chris Hatcher Show, presented again by Alabama Power.